And I want to start out with first recognizing the people that brought this bill forward are very well intended, and I know one of them very, very well, who's been around to talk to you, and I do believe it's a well-intended bill. However, there's things within the bill that really make me a little skeptical of how the bill might work. Specifically, the bill doesn't call for a prescription, it calls for a recommendation. We don't have that defined in statute anyway, what a recommendation from a doctor means. But that's what the bill says. It also clearly says about the parents, it says the person, in this case we're talking about the teenager, or the parent, or the legal guardian of the person provides the entity with documentation. Current statute requires a parent to go in with the child to the tanning salon and sign that it's okay and that's good for 1 year. That's the current law. We're moving away from that model with the parent involvement to excluding the parent from the discussion and having the child and the doctor make the decision and go to the tanning bed. I believe that's a step in the wrong direction. I have a 21-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old son, and I would very much like to be involved in their medical discussion, and this excludes me from that. And finally, the part of the bill that is the scariest part of the bill is the last section. I'm going to read it to you. The Oregon Health Authority shall adopt rules necessary for implementing the provisions of this section. So we as a legislature aren't going to talk about fines, fees, cost. We're going to say, Health Authority, you go do it. And if they go do something that isn't good, we've said go do it. That's scary to me. And I want to talk about a small business in my district, not unlike small businesses in all your district. And I want to talk about a person, because this really gets down to a person level for me. In Myrtle Creek, Oregon, a lady that grew up there, raised there, grew up there, graduated high school from there. She's 50-something years old now. A couple years ago, she lost her job with the economy going down and things happening. And instead of, and I understand this is the way people in Myrtle Creek do things, maybe somebody else can talk to the Myrtle Creek way, but instead of going on government programs and giving up, she said, you know what, I'm going to muster everything I got, take all my savings, borrow money against my house, ask my father for money, and started a business. In Myrtle Creek, a town that is largely empty for storefronts because politicians have decided not to manage natural resources and have killed that community, she decides, in the toughest economy we've seen in a long time, she's going to start her own business. And I guess you understand what business she started. She started the tanning salon. Not a hair salon, not a gym, not all these other stuff, but a tanning salon. And she started that in Myrtle Creek, Oregon, so that she could have a job, and she hires people, part-time high school folks, to help her run this business. She has to make a payment on the stuff that she's bought every month. Every single month, she's got to pay her bills. Now, I don't know if this is the one that's going to be the straw on the camel's back or not, but she has a certain amount of her clients, or this age group of people we're talking about. And what bothers me the most is we didn't even talk to them about how this would affect them. I agree that it's well intended. I agree if there is an opportunity to make people healthier. Some of you may know I work quite a bit on health stuff in this building. But why didn't we stop and talk to the small businesses around this state and say, hey, how will this affect you? What's going to happen if you can't make your payment? Are you going to shut your door and go on the government programs and not have the ability to sustain yourself? And I'm sorry that I sound passionate about this. I'm a small business owner. I have just a few employees. For the 22 years that I've owned my business, people in this building and people in Washington, D.C. have over and over and over made decisions that have made it very difficult for me to raise my kids and pay for them to go to school. I think it's important, as we look at these bills, we recognize it's not just about a bill that's well intended. The bill doesn't work the way it is. It doesn't work for even what the carriers of the bill said it would do.
Excuse me, Representative McLean yields. Thank you. Continue, please.
Thank you. It doesn't even do what we've asked it to do. So in my opinion, we're making a mistake here. And I don't want to blame the committee that heard it. The committee that heard it was the healthcare committee, not the business committee. That they likely would not have thought to ask the business questions that this bill affects. But yet, here we are on the floor making decisions that are going to impact small businesses in a negative way around the state. And we do it, and I'm sorry, I know we got a big bunch of stuff to do today, and we all like to get out of here by lunch, but we better think about what we're doing, and we better think about, is there a better way? Maybe putting a 5-year window in was the answer. I don't know how long you finance a tanning bed. I mean, you might look at me, I don't do a lot of tanning. I'm sort of a white guy. I have 2 colors, white and red. But that being said, we should ask the people that we're going to take advantage of or take the task on this bill and say, how can we make this better? How can we do it in a way that is not going to hurt small businesses around the state? And how can we do it in a way that actually accomplishes what we're trying to accomplish? I urge your no vote. This bill doesn't do what we're hoping it does. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative.